Hey cats, it's EDDBUD here, the Prince of Outsole Protrusions. So Adidas recently unveiled the Adizero Adios Pro 3 at their recent Adizero Road to Records event. Some exceptional running all round, it has to be said. But is the super shoe fad becoming a well-worn formula as we hit 2022? Just add more foam. That seems to be the key principle. Let's discuss. Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's always appreciated you tuning in. If you've yet to do so, please hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications. You can also help the channel out a huge amount if you give this video a thumbs up like and share it with your running buddies. Danke schön. If we think back to when the Vaporfly 4% was first released, it was a real departure from the race shoes and race flats that we'd seen before. A midsole stack of 39mm in the heel was just unnatural to some people, and lots of people got really upset about it and said it was unfair and illegal and people were cheating. That's what they said. They did have a big 10mm drop in that shoe though. We've slowly seen the drop kind of disappear so that some of the brands can get more foam underfoot. Fast forward to 2022 and Adidas unveiled the Adios Pro 3. Makes some fine adjustments to the already very refined Adios Pro 2. That remains one of the best shoes that I've tested out over the last couple of years. It's an absolute banger. And that's not to discount the PrimeX 2, which I love equally. We've only seen minimal details of the shoe so far, just some images, some short videos, but that's enough for us to start making some assumptions as to what changes have been made in this new version of the shoe. Certainly the upper of the shoe seems to draw from the previous iterations, but also from the PrimeX. That slingshot style strap that reaches around the heel is present here. We first saw that in the Adizero PrimeX. It really does work as well. Such a simple idea. Why didn't anyone think of it before? With those small lace loops either side of the early eyelet chain and a very interesting occlusion, a strip running the full length of the tongue. Looks like the laces fit underneath the tongue. It's not just at the front of the tongue either, further back towards the ankle. Perhaps it's to stop the tongue sliding around, or is it simply there just to hide the laces away? Quite a unique setup, and once again we see some ideas drawn from the PrimeX. The more I look at the Adios Pro 3, the more it looks like the upper of this shoe. There's lots and lots of design nods here in that new version. Seems to be a major inspiration all round for this shoe. Also, what do you make of that fold over flap at the rear of the shoe? Some of the athletes left it up, some of them folded it over. It's very odd. We saw something a little bit like that in the Streak Fly from Nike. I personally folded mine over. What do you make of it? Let me know in the comments, guys. Moving on to the midsole now, and the stack in the Adios Pro 2 was 39mm in the heel and about 31mm in the forefoot. I had about 43mm of heel stack in my pair of the shoes. I can't see Adidas going much above that. Obviously most of these top out around about 39mm these days. From the images we've got here, I believe Adidas are going to add more foam, but not where you think. I'd be amazed if we move away from that 8mm drop that Adidas seem to stick to with the Adios Pro series. As such, I think they're going to add the foam sideways. It seems like there's more of an angle to the foam here, certainly in the mid to forefoot, with a highly aggressive angle in the forefoot of the shoe. Very similar to what we've seen in the forthcoming Puma Fast Forward Nitro Elite. We do seem to have some lateral cutouts in the forefoot of the shoe, as per the Takumi Sen 8. And that classic continental rubber reaching around the front of the shoe towards the toe box. The midsole shape seems to be a little wider in the heel. Perhaps Adidas are trying to make it a little bit more stable back there. Just seems like there's more surface area underfoot here, and it seems like the midsole material is further reduced in the midfoot area, certainly on the lateral side there. They're just chopping pieces out wherever they can. We got the exposed energy rods as per the last version of the shoe. I've got to say, I've never had any real problems with debris getting caught within that section where the energy rods are exposed, although I did receive an image from viewer EDDBUD. He found a stowaway after completing the Galway half marathon in 1 hour 26 minutes. That stone fits perfectly into the slot there on his pair of PrimeX. It's literally made to measure, like a glove. Still a great time, Aiden, and thanks for tuning in. It's much appreciated. Outsole wise, we see the coarse, very tactile rubber featured on the previous models, this time with more pieces punched notched out in the forefoot and the heel. And there's a big slice of foam cut out there in the very back of the shoe. It does make me think of Hoka models actually. We've seen quite a few of their shoes with that strange kind of hoof-like feature at the back. I'm sure there's a special technical reason, but my money is on the fact that it's going to further reduce the foam that we've got in the shoe in areas that we don't need it. Thus Adidas is saving a few grams here and there to add more foam in places where it will actually benefit you. A little bit like in the Alpha Fly where we've got more foam overall, and it just makes the shoe that a little bit more forgiving for that marathon or half marathon distance. It's kind of like taking from Peter to pay Paul, as it were. Further signs that Adidas are refining that midsole unit from the Adios Pro 1 through to the Adios Pro 2 and now the 3. Clearly adding the foam underfoot is the most performance enhancing thing that they can do here, and it's not just about adding more foam, it's the type of foam. Lightstrike Pro really is exceptionally good, just seems to get better and better the more you use it. It's proved in the Adizero PrimeX, undoubtedly a shoe here that shows that ethos does work. Less fatigue at faster paces for the half to full marathon, which of course the Adizero Pro 3 is very much engineered for. I'm all in on the Adizero Pro series. All of those shoes work really well for me. I loved using the version 1 and I love both pairs of the V2s that I have. You know, the V1 and the V2 both helped me achieve personal records over the 10k and half marathon distance, and I can't wait to try the Adios Pro 3 when these reportedly drop in June of 2022. In fairness, I think actually from a few pictures that are circulating around at the moment, they're actually out in certain zones of the world, so keep your eyes peeled, guys. Certainly a yay from me for the Adios Pro 3. Can't wait to try them out. What do you make of these guys? I think it's a very refined kind of approach from Adidas, not just chucking more foam at it, but in very specific places to improve the performance, with minimal weight gains of course. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. A quick musical interlude for you. I've dug back into my archive and pulled out the Eraser from Tom York. I think there's a few piano chords and things from Johnny Greenwood here, but pretty much everything else is played by Tom York on this album, or programmed should I say, and probably Nigel Godrich as well helped to produce it. I really do like some very natural sounding songs from time to time. Something like Neil Young, Four Strong Winds, where everything's pretty much played by a person. But there's times where I want something that's really precise and kind of computer generated, but still has a human feel. But I think the Eraser from Tom York pretty much nails that sort of genre perfectly. I really love the title track and the song Black Swan. Hard to believe it was made in 2006, so it's getting on for like 16 years old. How is that possible? Still sounds really fresh now when you check it out as well. I think it's quite a few Radiohead fans kind of started to disappear around that point. They weren't really in tune with some of the material that was being produced by the band and its members. I really love Tom York's approach here of creating music perhaps on his own when he needed to perhaps create and get something out there, and it just sounds totally different and unique. There's nothing else that sounds quite like his stuff on his own. Go and check it out, guys, the Eraser from Tom York. It's not the easiest of listens, but it's interesting nonetheless, and that's what life should be. Okay, thanks for tuning in, sticking with me to the end of today's video. It is always appreciated. If you haven't done so yet, help the channel out by hitting that subscribe button, clicking the bell below for notifications, and also coming and finding me on Instagram. I think I've got like 4,000 followers or something on there, but I tend to post stuff, you know, every so often when something interesting happens. Hit that like button and also share this video with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you.